Life is full of mystery. We are born and then we die. But what happens when we die? Do we go to heaven? Or even worse, hell? Can we communicate with the dead? And if we can, should we? Let's find out.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Pedro Paranormal. Today I have a very special guest. I met him a while. Well, I didn't meet you a while back, but I found him a while back, and I actually talked about a couple of films he made. You know, that he actually sent me about a year ago, right? I think a year ago. Yeah, but I have here. He's a paranormal documentary filmmaker, and a paranormal investigator himself. So welcome Wayne Poe to the show. All right, Wayne. Why don't we start with the way, the same way I start with all my guests is, how did you get into the paranormal and why? Like, what was it that, sparked that thing in your mind that you wanted to get into this?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to watch all the horror movies and this show called In Search Of, where they look for Bigfoot and ghosts and UFOs, and I wanted to do that when I grew up, But slowly growing up, even especially my dad, there's no such thing. Quit wasting your time on that stupid stuff, You got to concentrate on real life and things like that. So eventually, I just, vampires are cool, but they don't really exist, and ghosts don't exist. So I became a complete skeptic.
Oh, I see.
So it wasn't until maybe 2004 or something, 2003, 2004, I had a friend of mine. He worked at a bar, and it was just on the outskirts of Huntington Park. No, I'm sorry, Bell. It was a VFW bar. It's been there since the 30s. And he started telling us about these weird things happening, ghosts and flagpoles screeching across the floor. And we, being us, we'd make fun of, you work with Gasper, give me a break, but he wasn't joking this time. He was serious, and he knew that we'd give him a hard time, and we were looking, and he's not joking. He's serious, because we all used to make fun of ghosts and things like that. Yeah. How stupid, And he told me one time, the one thing that really interested me, after I stopped joking, he interested me. He said he saw somebody like in a grayish figure, like in a uniform, walk by in one of the big hallways. I mean, the benefit halls they have. And he said, didn't he notice his boss was on the other side of the room? And he said, did you see that? And he goes, yeah, what the hell was that? I said, that's interesting. Two people saw the same thing, so it's not like a hallucination or something. And I had a camcorder. It just happened to have night vision on it, because that's when the ghost shows just started, 2006, 2005, I don't remember. But I went down there and I just copied what I saw on TV. Yeah, let's look around with and I wasn't serious at all. Just like, maybe we'll catch something. And am I talking too much?
Oh, no. Go ahead. This is very interesting.
Later on, I just wanted to make a horror movie, because a friend of mine, he had a pet goat. And then he had a family member that had this big, giant gray beard. He looks like Charles Manson or something. So I'm writing stuff where people are ripping people's hearts out and throwing it at them, and had the goat in the middle of the street. But nobody wanted to really do it. So that kind of fizzled. And a friend of mine said, why don't you make a documentary? And I said, about what? He says, find something you're interested in. And then I said, well, I've always liked, vampires and ghost stories and stuff like that. And he said, why don't you go film a documentary about ghost hunters? And I said, yeah, but those guys are on TV, How am I going to contact them? He said, no, local ghost hunters. And before that, I didn't know people did that. Not off TV, and I just Googled it, and there's all kinds of ghost hunters and paranormal groups all around me, So I just started sending out emails, and within the first week, someone contacted me and said, "Yeah, we'll let you follow us for a documentary." And then, 3 days later, I was on my first investigation, residential.
Oh, nice. How old were you?
Let's see, 2010. I don't know. I'm horrible.
Okay,
at
so it was
math.
like 2010. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm horrible at math, man.
I always thought maybe you started, because I know growing up, I always liked filming stuff like making music videos, like my own version of music videos and my own like little short films that I would make.
Right. Yeah.
So I think that's how I ended up getting back into this, because I've always enjoyed being on camera.
Yeah, I did that back in the 80s. Back in the 80s, not everybody owned of course, a phone with a camera or video camera. We had to, you had to rent a camcorder, which was a big thing like this, and a player. Wasn't together in a nice little, and you had to rent them from video stores, like mom and pop video stores, for like $50 a day or something, And I used to do that, and we'd film stupid stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what I did. I actually had, I forgot what family member it was, had the big camcorders that you put the big VHS tape into it.
Yeah.
And then you could plug in that same camera to like a TV and play it directly like that.
Right.
And I used to do the same thing. So you did that as a child as well as a young person too. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured that's how it started.
I had a teacher that was really into because just barely, when home movies just barely started, maybe around 82, 81, when Indiana Jones came out and all that, you can buy you could buy movies like Star Wars was like $80 for like a videotape, and go, damn, $80, and because there wasn't really home video didn't really start yet,
Yeah.
But he made a class called the media class, and already around like 1981 or something, I filmed a little parody of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it had to be, because the teacher was a healthcare person, it had to be about healthcare. So we made some silly movie about Indiana Jones finding the secret of eye care or something, just so we can use the cameras.
Yeah.
And we can have my friend get a jump rope or something and use that as a whip or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's funny, what you said before about how, when you had that interest with the paranormal and stuff, watching movies or whatever you did younger, and how your dad kind of like discouraged that, like, face reality, this is the real world.
Right.
Because something similar to like that, like what happened to you happened to me too. Mm-hmm. When I used to make my music videos and stuff, my parents, the same thing. They would, you're wasting your time, stop doing this, so dumb, like, just.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of, I think that's, because I've spoke to friends and stuff like, because parents now are a little different. We kind of encourage our kids to follow, any kind of interest they have.
Yeah. And
I tell my friends, what? I think if my parents would have like encouraged me, I would be doing this as a living. Like I'd be somehow being into movies and stuff, like in the film industry, as a camera person or something.
Yeah.
But once you got into the whole paranormal stuff, when you started doing your first like investigations and stuff, what was it that kept you there? Did you actually capture stuff like when you started?
Well, even before I started, I had a friend of mine that would encourage me. She was a psychic medium. I never met her. She still lived, I don't know, in Virginia. And she knew I was a skeptic. She knew I was an atheist and all that, So I said, what you got to do is you got to treat it seriously. So I said, okay, I'm not going to be rolling my eyes. Oh, brother, they're trying to, this,
You kind of ended up becoming your father.
Yeah, right, exactly. Mm-hmm. So I made sure that I'm gonna take seriously. I if they say there's something, I want to see it. I want to hear it. I want something to touch me. I'm open to it. Let me show me. So that's how I approached it. And the first couple of, if you ever seen the documentary called Trekkies,
I've heard of it.
It's, it kind of shows the wackier side of some of the Star Trek fans.
Yeah, I think I even remember. I think I own it.
Okay.
Doesn't it have like a baby in the front or something?
I think so. Yeah. So that's what I thought I was going to film. I was going to film a bunch of silly people looking for ghosts.
Ah, I see.
But I did want to concentrate on the people more than the evidence. I wanted, why do you do this? I wanted to get to know the people. And the first couple of groups I followed, I'm trying not to roll my eyes at. Oh my God, they're like
they're nuts.
They're pulling demons out of the floor and throwing them through a vortex in the wall, which is actually a closet. You know, I'm just going. I can't. I mean, that didn't even get in the documentary, because if I put everything I recorded in the documentary would have been 7 hours long. You know.
Yeah.
And I can't believe what I'm recording. And then eventually, I got into the more serious people that I considered serious, and they're showing me things like, oh wow, that's what kept me into it. Because, you know, at first I was thinking I'm just going to record a bunch of silly people and throw it on YouTube. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. But then people took a serious approach, and they understood we really don't know what ghosts are. We're just assuming, but we're here to capture the evidence. That's what I want to film. You know, so I kept into it. And even what I should have ended the documentary longer earlier than I did, but I was so into it. I was like, you want to go to Camarillo State Hospital again tonight? Yeah, let's go. You know, I can't wait. You know, so that kept me into it.
Yeah,
because it was almost validating what I used to wish that was real, like vampires, ghosts, and UFOs and things like that. You know.
Yeah, because I mean, you do end up meeting people that are really serious about it. Right. I know a lot of the times it just, you know, it seems almost because I did a few investigations with groups, and it was people that I didn't know that I just found online. Yeah. And they would be like, well, come along. And I would go, and it was just so exaggerated. Oh, right. That I would just be there for like an hour, and I'd be like, okay, I'm out. Like,
yeah.
You know, this is...
If they're doing it for like 6 years and they're still running away from a slamming door or a voice, you know, why? You should be used to this by now, you know? Yeah. That's why you're here.
Yeah. And you know what, those documentaries you made, you know, the ones you sent me the copies of, was there anything that you did, like, experience that you weren't able to capture on those films? That maybe, the camera was off? Because that seems to happen a lot. You know what? I did, sorry for...
Oh, no.
I did a Ouija board, like, session that I was going to actually put on, like, the day after Halloween on my Instagram with the PSB7, you know, like, the scanner. And I wanted to capture some EVPs and stuff. And it seemed like the stuff that was coming through was only happening before, like, either before I recorded or after I would stop recording. Then you would hear voices coming through, and I even had these little lights, you know, that are hanging on this Frankenstein start dangling. Okay. And there was no wind. You could tell there's no wind in here. Right. And they started dangling, but everything was already off. And I'm like, what? Like, did anything like that happen to you while you were doing it?
I mean, the first documentary that I was with a group called 3 a.m. Paranormal, and they'd tell me they'd put recorders out, and sometimes they capture it. It's right here or something like that. Yeah. So they tried to hide the recorders, or they say they caught a voice that it's over here or something like that. I said, I need this for the documentary. And then I noticed a lot of groups, their greatest hits they're talking about, said, oh, let's put it in the document. I don't know where that is. And oh God, dude. You know? Yeah. And but for me, for Hotel Camarillo, for instance, one of the biggest things that happened was one of the investigators that was like doing a quick smoke break. He's standing against the door jamb, and he saw something. It's a grown man. It made him scream like, ah, like, you know. And then he got so excited, he turned around and he hit his elbow on the door jamb, so he felt like he was being attacked, you know. So he's all over the place screaming. And before that, I was filming for like 2 hours, and we're doing investigations and stuff. So I finally put the camera down. Then that happens, you know. And I'm jumping up, and so there's some places you go to where you're not sure of where you are or who's there. Because we always used to announce we're investigators, we're not cops, you know. So, but you don't know who can be in the building.
Oh, of course.
So I had a knife with me. Yeah. So as soon as I thought someone was attacking him outside. I got up and I had a knife with me, and I said, what the fuck is going on? I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. And we went out there, and I'm looking and said, "What's going on, dude?" And he told me he saw this orderly with like a white uniform and red hair, giving a mean stare. And it's funny because we had a bunch of investigators with us. Some of them were women, and he screamed, they screamed. You know, and all the guys got what? You know, and we searched. It's so silly. we searched the entire building, but we left all the women. I'm sure they can take care of themselves, but we left them all there, just unguarded. But we searched the entire building. We couldn't find anybody.
Yeah.
And I showed them. I noticed on the floor there's a bunch of broken glass from the overhead lights, and I said, if someone was here and they ran off, we would have heard them because they would have ran over the grass. And then I told him, where did you see this person? And he said, he showed me where this person was standing. So I stood him there. And I was like maybe like a foot or two from his face. I said, it's so dark in here, I can't even see your face. I'm standing right in front of you. So how'd you see him? And he goes, I don't know, but he was there. Because he was a little while, maybe like 6 feet away, when he first saw that person. And I'm standing right there, and I can't even see his face,
So you when you did these films, because I know that you were using night vision.
Yeah.
So this was all done in the dark.
Most of the time I had night vision on the whole time, but that part, I had the camera off. We didn't have any lights with us, and there was some lights coming from one of the windows, and we were trying to be quiet because there's a certain place that we're not supposed to be. So basically, we're trespassing.
Yeah, yeah. And that documentary, was that the one that you had? Taff, was he in that one? Remember the guy that did the investigation for the famous San Pedro haunting?
That's an interesting thing with Barry Taff.
Was he in that documentary though, or was it the other one?
He was in that documentary, but you couldn't see him because I then have to pay $700.
Oh, okay. So he did a lot of them with you guys then?
No. I've never met Barry Taff.
Oh, okay.
But the guy that was supplying the old from the 2001 the footage, he with Barry Taff a few times to Camarillo. And we had a little clip of him investigating. We had a lot of clips investigating. And so when I was doing the documentary, of course, I would try to get everybody's permission. Can I use you in this movie and this and that?
Oh, I see.
Barry Taff wanted $700 for 13 seconds of footage. I said, yeah, I think I'll pass. So the footage I use is there, but someone's blocking him. You can't really see him. I said, yeah, Barry Taff was with us, but... I just use that part of the footage where you can't see him,
You should have just blurred him.
I should have, yeah.
But, what, another thing, when you did these, about how many of these have you made? I know you've released 2 films.
Yeah.
But how many, actual investigations have you been in where people ask you to go and film them? Has it been more than those, or usually you just go as an investigator?
I usually go as an investigator now, but when I have an idea to make a documentary, then I'll do the whole thing. I'll gather up people, what evidence you got to throw in the documentary, and that's become problematic actually because I want to concentrate more on just using my own footage, so I won't have to ask people where is it? Are you sending it? Were you going to send it?
Yeah.
You don't have it anymore. Oh, that sucks. How are we going to make a documentary if you don't have what you were talking about?
Yeah, that's true.
So. Yeah, I just try to. I mostly go as a investigator, and I've put little 10-minute or 20-minute videos up on YouTube. Like we did the investigation for the Comedy Store. It wasn't official, and don't use any signs that says Comedy Store or this and that. Can't you do that? Can't do this. And then a couple years later, I've noticed on YouTube people were putting up videos with the Comedy Store.
Yeah.
And it's there. And it's like, well, I'm going to put mine up then. The hell with this,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one of the harder things, of doing investigations in place. Because there was one we tried to do at Fort MacArthur, and the same thing happened where they told us we need to go get permits and do all this stuff. But then I watch other videos online, and I'm like, but it comes out there. Why can't we do it?
Yeah.
I guess it's just if you get caught.
places like Fort MacArthur, especially if you're on the outside, of course they can ask you to leave anytime. But it's a public area. It's also a historical museum, but it's a public area. And you don't need permits to film your girl waving at you from one of the barracks or something like that. And an interesting thing, I remember if you remember this movie called Escape from Tomorrowland or something like that.
No.
Some guy got in Disneyland with a bunch of his friends, and they acted like they were tourists. They filmed a little movie inside Disney, and you definitely can't do that, but he did.
Oh, nice.
And he lawyered up after Disneyland was had trouble with it, and he won. He got to show his little movie. It's basically like a horror, almost like I didn't see all of it. It's like a horror story about working at Disneyland.
Oh, okay. Did you ever have after doing one of these investigations, have something follow you home and like, stuff happened at your house after?
Things have happened at my house. Yeah. For instance, there was an instance where I did have someone over, and then the next day, pictures on the wall were all crooked, all on the wall. Little things like that.
I think you talked about that, right? When I had you on that other episode through Zoom. I think you told that story.
Yeah, and little things like that. And I don't believe in any of the, I'm very open-minded, and I'm less of a skeptic now than when I started, because I acknowledge there is something going on, and it's happened to me, and I don't know what ghosts are. I don't know if they're spirits of dead people, but there is something going on.
Okay.
So a friend of mine who's all into magic, and he's a native, a Chumash native, and he told me, or burn some white. He gave me some special candles. And he wrote sigils on them and burned some white. And this is all very wow, woo to me, but I did it.
And it worked.
Yeah, nothing has happened at my house since. Nothing I noticed. Every once in a great while, I'll say if I'm look the other way and there's like a lamp. It's like a shadow somebody would pass the lamp and you see a shadow move, and who's that? There's nobody in the house. Something every once in a great while, something like that, but nothing where plates are flying off the walls or things like that. Slamming doors. Nothing's ever happened like that at my house.
So, what do you lean more towards, like these things being that people see or experience? Do you think, because I know there's a lot of people that, especially in religion, that don't believe that ghosts are spirits of the dead, but they're more like a demonic or angels, like fallen angels and stuff. What do you think about that? Do you think do you lean more towards like something like that, something bad than actual?
No, a lot of the people that I've come to respect in the paranormal, they like roll their eyes every time someone does this as demonic, because then they basically told me, and it sounds right to me, is people are jerks in real life. People are really a-holes in real life, and if they're dead, they'll probably still be. So it's not exactly a demon; it's just some negative person. It could be, if ghosts are spirits of dead people. There is, I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody can tell. No one's the ghost expert said ghosts are dead people. No one can tell you that for certain. We don't know. No one's ever captured a ghost, and it kind of gets me not in trouble, but it kind of gets me on different sides, because I've got friends that I respect a lot on everything else they can tell me, about how to fix a car or whatever, and if they're psychic mediums, they're telling me that this was a person that died and this and that, and it's okay. Well, I'm not going to call you. How stupid. I don't know. Of course, I said I'm an atheist. There could be a God. I don't know. I have no proof of that. So how can I say there's absolutely no God whatsoever? I can't say that. So I can't say ghosts are definitely not dead people. Nobody knows yet, unless we capture one like Ghostbusters in that little box. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of like stuff online about that stuff. That's why I'm asking. I just watched one yesterday of this one guy that I guess he got into the paranormal. He became an investigator and all this stuff, and then he started noticing a pattern, I guess, and how the stuff they would capture, and somehow he came to the conclusion that it's all just demons and stuff because of the things they would say, kind of like almost like tricking you into believing it's a person from back in the 1800s or this.
Yeah.
But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Let's get back to the whole with you.
It's all about me.
No. I know you've done investigations also with Leah and Sabrina, right?
Not so much Leah, because she's kind of wary about paranormal stuff, and Sabrina, yeah. We've been to Allentown, I think it's called. I don't remember what it was. I haven't been on a full-fledged investigation, which is surprising since I've known her since 2011. You know,
That's weird. That's weird that you guys haven't done that yet.
yeah, but she was in a group, and she was kind of getting out of the group toward that time. You know, and she still loves everything paranormal, but not a dedicated. Okay, let's go do an investigation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and we haven't really done we've done little things. We've done, you know, cemeteries and a couple places that said to have been haunted. We never did an actual, you know, let's brass tacks investigation. So we should got to do that. You know,
You should.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, you know, with her being a sensitive and stuff, kind of.
yeah.
And
Whenever I don't feel anything, so whenever I go somewhere with her, I said, "Do you feel anything?" I rely on her, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And Sabrina, if you've ever met her, that's somebody I definitely don't say, "Oh, brother," you know. I would get my head smacked off my shoulders, but no, really, I respect her opinion. It's one of the few people that, yeah, let me know if you feel something, because, like, you know, you're me, I'm just like a blank slate on that. So let me know what you feel, you know.
Yeah.
We've done little things like that, you know.
So what is like the biggest like investigation you've done? Like not just with I'm like by yourself, but like with groups. Is there anybody like big besides like Taft that you've met? Or gone to, like, maybe like a famous place like the Amityville or something like that?
No. I haven't been outside of the state for investigations. You know, I mean the biggest, most famous location I've been to is the Queen Mary, and I've never had. Everybody else has had an experience. I've never had a paranormal experience on the Queen Mary.
Yeah, you see a lot of videos online about the Queen Mary.
Yeah.
And I've captured stuff there. So that's weird that you haven't gotten anything there.
Yeah, I mean, as for people, I mean, I haven't been on a celebrity investigation. You know, there was one at Linda Vista Hospital where one of the Booth brothers, they make paranormal documentaries too, and they're kind of famous. You know, they were supposed to show up and they didn't show up. I thought, oh, that sucks, but I still want to go in the building. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, it would be cool to have them there, but they're saying, you know, I'm sorry, the guy couldn't make it. Maybe we should just cancel. I still want to go in the building. I want to see what's going on, you know. But I even before I got into the paranormal, like 2004 or something, there was a group I used to be a part of. I never did what they did, but as a bunch of friends, and I thought it was cool because they dressed up like Indiana Jones. And they do every year. They'd have a gathering on the Queen Mary because it's like a 1930s kind of vibe, and they had the hats and they had the real whips and all screen accurate costumes, and that was a big Indiana Jones fan.
Oh, okay.
And so I never had any of that stuff. I just followed them, and they'd have a yearly meet on the Queen Mary, and they go exploring. You know, they're not places they're not supposed to be. You know. But they tell me ghost stories, and I said, "Really?" You know, because I was trying not to say, "Oh, BS." You know, of course they're my friends. You know, but they're telling me they're sleeping at night and they're hearing the zippers on their luggage going back and forth like that. You know, and water turning on and things like that. And they're not there to be ghost hunters. They're not there to tell ghost stories. They're there to just basically cosplay Indiana Jones. So why would they add these silly ghost stories? You know, they're not saying. They're like like this joking. They're like they're wide. This is what happened last night. The lights turned on and off by themselves, and I don't know what's going on in that room. I didn't want to stay in that room anymore. You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's another thing. People can have all these experiences. If I don't have an experience, obviously, okay, well, it's not haunted. I didn't have an experience. You know, well, it's not all about me. You know.
Yeah.
You have to understand that if you're a skeptic, sometimes people that are skeptics, they're kind of militant to being a skeptic. Oh, bull, this is a fishing line, or this is that. And a lot of it you can debunk. I do that. You know, I want to debunk everything it could possibly be. And when you have no more excuses, you're left with, wow, I want to know what that was, you know. But a lot of people there's no such thing as ghosts. You can explain it. Oh, you're tired, or this and that, and I'm not. I don't do that, and you gotta take people at face value. If they're telling you, you know, obviously if they're not, you know, I don't know how you define the definition of people that are not sane, you know?
Oh, okay.
But if you're like a regular guy, you're telling me, I just saw a woman in white today in my garage. I'm like, oh, BS, Tony. There's no such thing. What's wrong with you? You know, why would I do that? You know,
I wish.
If you're telling me seriously that you saw that, so wow, I wonder what that was. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, you said you had a friend that was a medium, right? This
Yes.
was back in the day, and you are a skeptic,
Mm-hmm.
and you do want proof, right? That's the whole
Right.
point of filming these things. Have you ever like tried like doing things like Ouija board, doing
Oh, yeah.
any has it worked?
No, not really.
No.
I mean, we go around and of course it will move because people move. Sometimes you're not unconsciously move things. So then that you got a group of people holding the planchette, it's going to start moving because people are. I'm not moving. Are you moving? No, I'm not moving it. But eventually you do because you can't just stick your hand out there and it's going to stay there for like an hour. It's pretty soon you're going to be moving. You know.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I kind of, because I've been doing, the Ouija board has never worked for me.
Mhm.
It's never moved.
It's a parlor game.
I mean, the EVPs, that works fine.
Mhm.
But something I started using recently, I bought a pendulum
Uh-huh.
at an antique store, and it works.
Oh, really?
It's tripped me out. I've even done like little short videos of it, and I kind of understand. I did some like research online
Uh-huh.
about it, how it is that it's very similar to the Ouija board, where of course if I hang the pendulum on something and ask questions, it doesn't move only
Right.
if I'm holding it.
Yeah.
And it even says online how you'll feel like almost like something takes over. Like all of a sudden your arm will twitch a certain way, or you feel kind of like movement, but it's involuntary.
Mhm.
Almost like like when your leg twitches on its own.
Yeah.
It's something very similar to that. And I've been doing little like tests
Uh-huh.
where I'll put certain metals, or I'll put an old coin, like face up, tails up, and depending on what I do, it'll spin either clockwise or counterclockwise.
Oh, that's
It's the
interesting.
weirdest thing.
Yeah.
And it's so I'm still looking into it, because I don't know if there's maybe some explanation to it, because like I said, with the coins, head up, clockwise.
Uh-huh.
If anybody out there knows anything about this, comment down the bottom, because I'm very curious about that.
Do you have the coins uncovered or covered when you're doing it?
Uncovered.
Try covering them and
I tried.
guess.
I
You
tried.
did?
I tried.
Did it work?
No. I have to
Interesting.
be looking at it.
It's interesting because you might be subconsciously wanting it to be the correct answer.
Yes.
You're looking
I
at.
thought about that, because I even did a thing where I spun the coin and covered it and closed my eyes and put it. And when I open my eyes, it won't move until I look at it. But I have this old coin, that I'm wearing on my bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
There's two other pieces of metal next to it,
Uh-huh.
right? So when I didn't even think about that. I'm like, well, this is the coin, so let me try it on this coin.
Yeah.
So head up, of course, clockwise, tails, counterclockwise. But the strange thing was that it didn't go in a perfect circle. It did like an oval,
Uh-huh.
almost like it's trying to avoid these other metals.
Oh, that's
which is the
interesting.
weirdest thing. And I
Yeah.
wasn't thinking about like, oh well, it's the other metals. So I mean, I like you said, it could be a subconscious thing.
Yeah.
But I even feel like on certain items, like my hand, almost like it just starts twitching for no reason without me thinking about it. And what I did, because supposedly the correct way of doing it is putting your arm on a table,
Uh-huh.
so that way it's not your body swaying back and forth.
Right. Yeah.
And if I flip the coin, like let's say it's going clockwise on heads, I'll flip it as it's still going clockwise, and then the pendulum all of a sudden just starts swinging like right and left, and
Uh-huh.
then start swinging the opposite way. It's the strangest thing. I'll
Yeah.
put a video up soon of it. I mean,
That's cool.
it's tripping me out.
Yeah.
And like I said, maybe it is a subconscious thing, but
Mm-hmm.
it's amazing to me. It's amazing.
Yeah. The thing for me about dowsing rods, it's the same thing. Because some guys, I'm not moving at all, but every once in a while you can see their hands like this, And I've never believed in dowsing rods, and I've saw videos where they would have water, but it's under isn't it water in a cup? And so, okay, try to find the water, and the person could never find the water, you know?
Yeah.
And then, so it made dowsing for water. And I watched a bunch of videos and completely debunking it, and so see, that's BS, you know?
Yeah. I tried those. I ordered some of those, and they didn't work. They didn't work with me.
Yeah. But then, like I said, I've got a friend who's native, and he says, yeah, we have a lot of water people that they find water with dowsing rods. So I can't say, we got to respect, you know, that you don't know everything.
Yeah.
You know, so maybe it works for some and doesn't work for others.
It could be.
I can't see overall dowsing rods are BS. You know,
Well, it's almost like mediums and psychics. Not
Yeah.
everybody can do it.
Right.
You know, it's only a certain amount of people.
right.
But I mean, who knows? But that pendulum thing really got me. Because I mean, I've been trying all kinds of different objects, and I still don't understand what they mean. Like, what does the clockwise mean on certain things, and counterclockwise? Is it negative, positive? So it's even something that I have no idea, but it does it.
Yeah.
Weird. Anyways, yeah. Well, I was just curious, you know, especially when, like myself, you know, when you're very curious and you want to find those answers, like to the supernatural and stuff, and you look for it. You know, you try different ways. That's why I was asking you if, you know, you tried the Ouija board, but it didn't work. Yeah, the Ouija board, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if it did. I mean, I even when a kid, my mom actually had that one, the one you have one behind you, and I used to, let's check this out, because I think the major thing where everybody got scared of the Ouija board is because it was in The Exorcist. That was 1973. Before that, I don't remember hearing anything about demons coming out of the Ouija board. But after The Exorcist, you see what happened if you play with you're going to get possessed by the devil, you know? Then everybody started going, Ouija boards are horrible. But before that, they're like in the 19th century, they're a parlor game piece people used to play for fun, you know, just to laugh at it after dinner, you know?
Yeah.
And that's really all it is. I mean, I don't know. I got some friends. I got some friends that say no matter what you use or anything like that, if the intent is there, that's how some energies can come through. If you're susceptible to that, you know. Yeah. Maybe some energies are looking for. Well, he's playing with the Ouija board. I have ITC with the SB7. You know, maybe he's a friendly place for us to stay or interact with or channel through or something. I don't know a lot about that myself, you know, but people that do tell me if the intent is there, that might happen. Yeah. You know.
Well, I mean, what I think is, like, you know, how we were saying about the mediums and the psychics, like certain people have those abilities. I think, you know, because I have a friend, Felicia, from Crescent City Tarot. She actually told me that we all have abilities. It's just, it's different for everyone. You know, some people could do good with the tarot cards. Some people good with. There's people that I don't know if you've seen on YouTube that read coffee mugs, after they finish their coffee, whatever's left, the markings, they could read the markings and use that to not predict the future, but predict whatever you're going through.
That's like the tea leaves, like in the old days. Yeah. Like when you call the mummy, you put the tea leaves in or something, you know?
Well, see, that's what I'm thinking. Like, you know, because the Ouija board doesn't work for me, doesn't work for you, but it works with certain people. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure there's people that fake it.
Oh, yeah. I've seen a lot of videos. So
yeah, I'm sure there's people that fake it. But I think certain items, it's just, you know, like the psychic told me, we all have abilities, but I think we just use them differently. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing with the pendulum. The pendulum seems to work great with me. Yeah. And so I think that's what it is. I think we all have that ability, but it's just finding what it is that, you know, that works with you to connect to that, to the other side.
Right. There you go.
Yeah. The films you have, there are only 2 films?
I only have 2 right now. I started the 3rd documentary in 2016, but there's just a lot of problems started happening. Some medical with me, but other things where I was going to be on California missions and how they're haunted.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to do all the California missions. It's going to be long road trips and stuff like that. But then I noticed there wasn't a lot of ghost stories for all of the missions. Everyone, you might hear, it kind of felt creepy in this room, but some of the missions like La Prisma is like one of the most haunted ones I've heard stories about. And I said, okay, let's do this documentary. And then, again, so where's your evidence? So I was like, I'm looking for it. And then after a while, I'm just going, oh man, I did a couple of interviews for that documentary. And this is 2021 right now. It just never went anywhere. I'm trying a new one now on ITC, Instrumental Transcommunication, what some people call spirit boxes,
Oh, okay. So where can people find these films if they want to purchase a copy?
Right now, I just found out recently they're Amazon's not making DVDs anymore. So you can find it streaming. You can find Night Stalkers and Hotel Camarillo on Amazon Prime. And I think it's like $1.99 if you don't have it. If you don't have Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay.
If you have Amazon Prime, it's free.
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. Is there anything else you want to plug, like your Instagram or your Facebook?
Not really.
Anything where people can follow you, because you never know. I mean, especially I've had a lot of people like reach out to me with either ghost stories and stuff. Mm-hmm. So since you make films, they might have some footage for you or something.
Well, I have Facebook, and it's mostly friends only, really. But I have public Instagram. Most of the places I'm at is Mr. Poe's Morgue. So that's my Instagram, and also I'm on TikTok. I make silly little, 30-second videos and stuff.
Okay. That's cool. I didn't know you were on TikTok. All right. Well, follow Wayne, on Instagram. I'll put his Instagram.
Don't follow me home, though.
Instagram right here. And if you have any stories on missions, that he could use on that next documentary,
Well, next documentary will be about ITC. So if
ITC.
You have any spirit box stories? Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, share them with Wayne on his Instagram. All right, guys. Well, don't forget to like, share, subscribe to this channel, of course. Follow me on Facebook. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.